Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today's video is all about keeping pet freshwater clams for beginners. So if you're new to this sort of stuff, you've come to the right place. So make sure to watch right to the end so that you'll get every single tip you need in the end of this video. Alright, let's get into it. Okay, so one of the first things we'll cover is, what do clams eat? Well, clams basically feed themselves. I mean, it sounds too good to be true, but these guys are filter feeders. So if you have good circulation in your tank and you have animals or algae or whatever living in it already, your clam will basically be feeding itself, but as a filter feeder. Not only will they clean your tank for you, they'll just feed themselves. They're like super easy to look after. So you don't really have to worry too much about actually buying food for them. I mean, you can always give them algae wafers or flakes or pellets if you want to, but that's not really required. They really just look after themselves. Tank mate wise, they're pretty compatible. Like guppies, tetras, that sort of stuff, all pretty comfortable with them, and they don't really cause that much trouble. Like, the clams have really honestly never posed a real threat to my fish or shrimp or crayfish or anything. They're very chill animals. The only real thing to look out for is where you get your clams from, because certain species of freshwater clams actually do have parasitic offspring, which like sort of hook onto fish gills and can harm fish. However, if you buy your mussel or clam from a pet store like me, I don't think you'll have anything to worry about. I would also avoid putting your freshwater clams with any aggressive bottom feeders like catfish or anything that sort of is super territorial, because these guys are pretty vulnerable. So yeah, make sure there's nothing big in the tank that could eat them. Okay, so moving on from that, another really important aspect to look out for in your tank is what kind of filtration or pump you have going in your tank. Clams aren't super picky about what kind of filter you have, but they don't like really fast moving water, so make sure that your filter isn't too crazy and isn't agitating the water ridiculously, just that the water's sort of comfortably moving around. Clams will need some sort of filtration or pump or something to keep water moving around, because they need fresh water around them for them to get their food, like I said before. So yeah, they need some food surrounding them, so make sure you have a filter of some description that's adequate for your setup. There are some other pieces of equipment that you can get for your tank if you want to, but most of it isn't really necessary. Your tank won't really need a light unless you want to. I mean, you can always add it, but your clam can definitely live without it. And I guess you don't really need a heater or a coolant or anything if you want that. I guess it really depends where you live. As long as your tank is kept somewhere between 70 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit or 21 to 27 degrees Celsius, you should be good. So you don't really need anything else. However, there are two really important aspects that really will affect your clam, and the first one is how much water you have in your tank, how much water your aquarium can hold. Now, you wouldn't really think this would be relevant, but your clam actually needs enough water in the tank in the first place, circulating around, so that it can actually suck in water. There has to be enough stuff growing in the water and enough of it flowing around that your clam can actually feed itself. If you have multiple clams in one small tank, they're not going to get enough like just nutrients, and they're just going to be fighting over water. You need to make sure there's enough water for your clam. You can't really put them in like tiny little patches with like tanks with not a lot of water. They definitely need this. It's very important. They definitely need water. Yeah, like enough water. I would say for a group of clams, like maybe 5 or more, you'd need around somewhere 20-ish gallons or 75 liters for 5 or more in one tank, and that's simply just because the clams just need that much water if they're going to be in a group that big. However, if you're just keeping 1 or 2 smallish clams and you've already got a pretty good fish tank that's pretty decently sized and can hold enough water, yeah, it doesn't matter as much. But yeah, definitely keep an eye on that. You definitely want to make sure that your clam has enough water to feel comfortable and to feed itself. And the last super important decision you have to make is what kind of substrate or flooring you want to use on your fish tank for your clam. When I first got my clam, I just had my regular pebbles on the ground. They always work great for shrimp and crayfish and fish. They're just a great all-rounder. They don't really affect your pH much, and they're very easy to just apply. You don't have to worry too much about them. But I now realize they're not super great for clams, because obviously clams can't bury themselves in it, but they're still a great option for beginners. However, if you're looking for something a bit more accommodating for your clam, and you want to make sure that your clam is able to bury itself, you can always use sand or small gravel, but obviously that comes with its own complications with pH and water clarity and stuff. But if you think you're willing, why not give it a go? I hope this video helped teach you a little bit about how to look after clams, feeding, looking after everything. Yeah, I hope this really helped you, and if you have any questions, you can always put them in the comments and I'll get to them. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe.